Welcome to the Natural Health Show with one of New England's leading holistic specialists, Mark Mincola. Call Mark at 617-822-1969 on 96.9 Boston Talks.
Welcome home, Natural Health Nation. Great to have you on board with us here this evening. And, it's amazing how much information continues to surface over and over and over again about how brain boosting is a very real, plausible reality when it comes to nutrition. So many amazing, really, truly remarkable substances in the world of nutrition that are coming up like roses these days. It's said that 10 million baby boomers will develop Alzheimer's disease over the next decade. 1 in 10 Americans over age 65 are said to be absolutely destined for the disease, which is really incredibly saddening news. But experts say that nutrition alone, proper nutrition alone, could save nearly 250,000 people over the next decade that very fate. And, the further cost as well, a saving in cost of $10 billion as well over that same 10-year period. So I guess the $64,000 question is indeed, can brain-boosting nutrition really help with long-term memory and brain function? How's your memory? Are you remembering where you put those car keys? You're scouring about the house and frustrated, screaming and yelling four-letter words because you have a hard time figuring out where those car keys went. That's not an unusual thing. Unfortunately, I can honestly attest to the fact that I hear repeatedly in my office, that folks are just kind of not getting it done when it comes to memory. So I know there's an awful lot of complaints that I hear on an ongoing basis about memory issues. So what about brain boosting? And is that a very real, plausible possibility that there are nutrients that can help you minimize future risks of being diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease and dementia, and further can help you with memory on a day-to-day basis, even as we speak? And the answer, of course, seems to be a resounding yes. According to a new study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, French researchers at the University of Paris recently found that a nutrient mixture of beta-carotene, vitamin C, vitamin E, selenium, and zinc really did indeed appear to make quite a difference with 4,500 French men and women ages 45 to 60 who were split into two groups. Half of these folks received a placebo pill. The other half received the nutrient mix that we just spoke of, the beta-carotene, the vitamin C, vitamin E, selenium, and zinc mixture. And after 14 years, were given some very rigorous mental testing, which included the testing of their mental agility, their memory, their long-term memory, etc., etc. And these particular researchers in this particular study found a 40% reduction in long-term memory problems with the vitamins and nutrients we just spoke of. Again, beta-carotene, vitamin C, vitamin E, selenium, and zinc made a 40% impact, positive difference on those folks being able to recall and remember more efficiently on a long-term basis when tested, when challenged. And this is just but one study. Again, there's a number of different remarkable studies as well that research has shown that omega-3 fish oils, vitamin B6, B12, folic acid, acetyl L-carnitine, ginseng, ginkgo biloba. Of course, there have been a number of meta-analyses that show that that is review of a number of other previous epidemiological or population studies indicate that the herb ginkgo biloba does indeed help stave off the ravages of dementia and memory issues, and that's ginkgo biloba. So we've had a lot of remarkable research. There's also been a number of different studies that indicate food makes a big difference here as well. Nutrition is part of the equation, don't forget that. There actually was a study that I found that was in the Archives of Neurology, and there were Veterans Administration researchers in Seattle who, again, recently found that a diet rich in olives walnuts, almonds, fish, poultry, fruits and vegetables. With a diet that did not have a lot of fatty, heavy animal proteins. A diet that didn't have a lot of cheese and red meats and egg yolks, etc., reduced the risk of Alzheimer's by 40%. Similar numbers to the French study, a significant drop in the risk reduction, or in the risk factor, rather, for encountering Alzheimer's. So again, recent studies in the University of Paris, the VA administration, researchers out in the city of Seattle, the great city of Seattle. So, these are just a tip of the iceberg, folks. So can we make a difference when it comes to brain boosting? Can we make a difference with nutrition? Can nutrition help you remember where you put those car keys? Furthermore, can it help you as you go along in life at maintaining a strong integrity of memory and brain function? And that is something that really, I think, defines by nature the true quality of living in life. Being alive is one thing, but having your faculties at a high level of functioning mentally is really what life quality is truly all about. So, again, when we think about the initial numbers that I put forth, 10 million baby boomers can be expected to develop Alzheimer's disease over the next decade. Can nutrition make a difference? There's no question about that. Again, these particular studies say indeed it can. And we're talking about nutrition from a food perspective. We're talking about nutrition from a nutrient supplement perspective as well, the idea of supporting the nutritional system in your body with beta-carotene, vitamin C, vitamin E, selenium, zinc, to mention just a few. We're going to talk about these and a lot of other similar supplements that and nutrients that have been found to have very similar supportive responses in study after study. Hey, again, you know what it's all about here on the Natural Health Show. We're here to inform and inspire, but we're also here to take your calls, answer your various questions regarding natural health. So in Boston and New England, 617-8221-9069. Verizon Wireless users, lucky y'all. It's a free call. Just dial pound 969. And again, we're here for your questions regarding nutrition as well. So when you have those questions, make sure you write them down so you know what you're talking about here a little bit. And we always tell people, keep the pen and paper handy, keep the notepads handy, because we fly through the information pretty quickly. For folks that don't keep up with this information, of course, you can go to our website, because we podcast and record all these programs, and you can check them out each and every week, and they're archived as well at www.maxhealing, one word, maxhealing.com. So you can check all those goodies out. And once again, you are listening to 96.9 Boston Talks. We are the Natural Health Show. My name is Mark Mincola, and we're going to take a short little break, and we're going to get back to your calls as soon as we get back. Stay tuned.
Questioning authority is a Boston tradition, and the tradition lives on right here.
Any questions?
96.9 Boston Talks.
The brain requires nutrition just like the rest of the body. Although many of us depend upon caffeine for focus and concentration, caffeine is not actually a nutrient. Real nutrition is needed to enhance brain metabolism and provide antioxidant protection. This is where Jarrow Formula's Neuro-Optimizer comes to the rescue. Neuro-Optimizer is a concentrated source of the nutrients needed for memory and mood, for concentration and focus, all without being a stimulant. Neuro-Optimizer supplies the building blocks for neurotransmitters, the chemicals that allow cells in the brain to communicate and to file away memories. Acetyl L-carnitine and alpha-lipoic acid support brain energy production. Phosphatidylserine, L-glutamine, and taurine enhance brain stability and detoxification in the face of stress. Neuro-Optimizer is the nutritional answer to the brain's needs. Ask for Neuro-Optimizer at your local health food store, or for more information, go to Jarrow.com. That's Jarrow for the best in brain health formulas.
Do you own or manage a natural health, fitness, day spa, or go green business? Perhaps you have a unique restaurant that offers healthy entrees, heart-smart seafood, vegetarian or lighter fare options. I invite you to share your vision and deliver your message directly to health-conscious New Englanders by becoming a sponsor of the Natural Health Show, New England's #1 health radio show. The Natural Health Show is now welcoming potential sponsors to join our natural health family by offering a number of creative and flexible sponsorship packages. For information on how to become a sponsor of the Natural Health Show, simply call Candida at 781-834-2728. That's 781-834-2728. Be a part of New England's natural health revolution. Join our Natural Health Show family today.
Everyone's heard of the weight loss sensation Ervinja African Mango Extract. It's the life extension weight loss formula that helps you control your appetite and break down stored body fat. Well, now Life Extension has combined Ervinja with another weight loss breakthrough called Adipostat. Like Ervinja, Adipostat helps break down stored body fat. It also helps prevent new fat cells from forming and helps keep existing fat cells from growing. Imagine the effect of this new double-barrel weight loss formula. It's called Advanced Anti-Adipocyte Formula. It's all natural, and you'll find it wherever Life Extension supplements are sold. Advanced Anti-Adipocyte Formula. Sure, the name is hard, but losing weight? Now that's easy.
Here's some very important information that will save you thousands of dollars. Mortgage rates have recently dropped to historic levels, and Powder House Mortgage Company continues to offer today's best rates with no closing costs. That's right, no points and no closing costs. Powder House Mortgage, an industry leader for over 28 years, will save you money. If you aren't using Powder House Mortgage, you are paying way too much. Whether you're buying your home or refinancing, you'll save thousands of dollars with Powder House Mortgage. Since 1983, tens of thousands of homeowners have turned to Powder House Mortgage Company for the lowest rates and the best service. Powder House Mortgage has saved its clients millions of dollars over the years. If you aren't using Powder House Mortgage, you're paying way too much. Call Powder House Mortgage right now, toll free at 855-ASK-PHMC. That's 855-275-7462. Powder House Mortgage, online at phmcdirect.com.
Now, back to the Natural Health Show, sponsored by Good Health Natural Foods in Quincy and Hanover.
In Boston and New England, 617-822-1969. Verizon Wireless users free call. Just dial pound 969. And again, we're here for your questions. Let's get to Bill in Lowell. Welcome to 96.9 Boston Talk Show on the Natural Health Show.
Good afternoon to you.
How are you?
Well, the reason I am calling is I'm a bike rider and kind of getting up there in years, in my late 50s, and notice, we get kind of tired towards the end of a ride. And last week I was listening to your show and you were talking about a sugar product that has a tendency to provide quick energy to the muscles, to provide more energy. And I was driving and I failed to write it down. I guess maybe the Alzheimer's is starting to kick in a little sooner than expected.
Probably not.
I'm trying to find out if you could tell me what that product, the name of it was.
Absolutely. Yeah, the product is called Ribose, R-I-B-O-S-E, Ribose. It's a pentose 5-carbon sugar. Again, when people hear the word sugar, they get a little bit nervous. There are many, many different types of sugar, and some are actually quite advantageous at a cellular level in the body. And this is one of those. This is one of those really good for you, healthy sugars that actually increases the delivery of energy to the cell, to the mitochondria of the cell. It also expedites the uptake of oxygen at a cellular level, so it's quite efficient as an energy enhancer. And again, it's just called Ribose. The one I like is, and there are different types out there. Jarrow Formulas are great sponsors. Jarrow Formulas makes a real nice powdered version of this Ribose, and it's 2,200 milligrams in it. When I say it's in a scoop, don't get nervous. It's a tiny thimble-sized scoop, and it doesn't require any fancy mixing. It dissolves instantly in water. It tastes great, So it's a 2,200 milligram scoop that easily goes into a glass of water. And I would say that to take 3 of those a day, take one in the morning, one in the afternoon, one in the evening. Especially, what time of day do you do your biking routine?
Early evening.
All right. You definitely want to do one of those just before you hit the bike.
Okay, so about a half hour before you hit the bike,
yep.
Mix one up with a glass of water and drink that.
That's exactly right. So you do one in the morning, one in the afternoon, one just before your bike ride in the early evening. Right. And the other thing I'd recommend is looking at this whole concept of energy from the perspective of body and brain, granted the body and the brain share the same chemistry for all intents and purposes, but sometimes folks get mentally fatigued when they still have plenty of physical energy because there's a lot of stress that we face nowadays that tends to kind of deplete the brain energy as well. So along with ribose, I might recommend DMAE. I like the DMAE as well. Again, Jarrow Formulas makes a terrific DMAE, 100 milligrams, and again, 3 a day. And they work well together. So 100 milligram DMAE along with a scoop of ribose, that's 2,200 milligrams, repeat at breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Okay, what about some people were talking about L-arginine being a dilator that also provides more oxygen to the muscles?
Yes, nitric oxide, and and it enhances some of your efficiency with testosterone, which, of course, as people age, is an important issue as well. So there's no question. The one thing I caution against arginine, Bill, is there's a lot of folks now that have retro-type viruses. The new phenomenon in viruses, herpetic viruses, fever blisters, that kind of business.
Okay.
And there's more and more of that going on these days than ever before. Arginine will increase that risk and will inflame that particular problem. So if folks do have a frequent concern about things like fever blisters, cold sores, herpetic-type lesions, and herpetic viruses, you really want to avoid arginine because, again, it'll feed these viruses. So there's one little caution right there.
Okay. Very good. I appreciate the information. Thank you.
Thank you for calling. Thanks so much. Again, in Boston and New England, 617-822-1969. Verizon wireless users, free call pound 969. We're here for your questions regarding nutrition. Let's get to another Bill on the line from Plymouth. Welcome to 96.9 Boston Talks. You're on the Natural Health Show.
Hi, how are you?
Terrific. How are you?
Good. Question regarding stevia.
Mm-hmm.
And, using it as a substitute, obviously, for Splenda. So I wanted to ask you about your thoughts on Splenda, how bad it really was and is, and as an alternative to that, using stevia. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you for calling, Bill. And Splenda actually is not one of my favorite sweeteners. It is basically nothing more than sugar, regular old table sugar that has one chloride molecule removed. That's pretty much all you're looking at there. And there's a great debate, an open debate that still rages on about whether or not it triggers pancreatic insulin for everybody. There have been some studies that indicate that might be the case. But for all intents and purposes, it is really quite it's quite an unreliable sugar, and it's not a great substitute for natural sugars that are a little bit safer. There are disaccharides, there are polysaccharides, there are a number of different classifications of sugars. They all have slightly different properties. We just talked about a minute ago with the ribose. But I think stevia, which was your other question, is a much more safe, reliable, healthy form of sugar substitute, and so I would advise you to use the stevia and to do an organic stevia, and to stay away from the Splenda. That is not one of my favorite sweeteners. So there's my advice on that one. Don't forget here, folks, we are indeed talking about something that I think is a really important issue. We've been talking with you this evening a little bit about the 10 million baby boomers that will develop Alzheimer's over the next decade. 1 in 10 of those of us over 65 will get Alzheimer's, according to the experts. But the good news is that experts now say that nutrition alone could save nearly 250,000 of us from such a fate, and a further savings in cost of 10 billion buckaroos over the next decade as well. So important issues. And again, brain boosting is really an important issue when it comes to supporting your long-term memory and your cognitive functions. One of the things we just talked about a minute ago with one of the bills that called us is the DMAE. And the DMAE is something you can purchase over the counter at the health food store. We just mentioned the Jarrow Formulas version of DMAE, which is a great product. And that particular supplement was studied extensively by Dr. Stanley Geller, Dr. Leon Ettinger, back as far back as the 70s, and it's been used very, very successfully by an awful lot of folks out there for brain function, for cognitive recall, for memory, for mood. It tends to elevate mood, give the brain energy, and help its recall. Now, how can you beat that trifecta right there? So that is called DMAE, and I'd recommend 100 milligrams 2 to 3 times a day. Again, in Boston and New England, our telephone numbers here, 617-822-1969. Verizon Wireless uses free call, just dial pound 969, and of course, we're here to answer your questions regarding virtually any nutrition issues, diet issues, nutritional issues having to do with supplements, vitamins, minerals, herbs, and natural health in general. So make sure you give us a call at 617-822-1969 or pound 969 for Verizon Wireless. And we're here to talk to you about the core issue of the evening. Again, brain boosting, according to a new study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition. French researchers at the University of Paris recently found that a nutrient mix of beta-carotene, vitamin C, vitamin E, selenium, and zinc, beta-carotene, vitamin C, vitamin E, selenium, and zinc, when given to half the group of 4,500 French men and women ages 45 to 60 in this particular 14-year study. The half that were given the vitamin-mineral mixture versus the half that received a placebo had a 40% reduction in long-term memory problems. So this particular study supports the notion that brain boosting in the world of nutrition is very real and is a very real possibility, and nutrients seem to be able to make a significant difference. Again, to me, this coordinates really very nicely with a number of other studies. The one that we mentioned in particular is a nutrition study that indicates that it's not just about the pills, it's also about the food. A June 28th study published in the Archives of Neurology. Veterans Administration researchers in the city of Seattle found that a diet rich in olive oil, walnuts, fish, poultry, fruits, vegetables, not so high in the heavy, denser, fatty animal foods, reduced the risk of Alzheimer's 40%. So we're talking about getting the job done with nutrition as well as supplementation. All right, let's get to your calls. We got Mary on the line from Norfolk. Welcome to 96.9 Boston Talk. You're in the Natural Health Show. Hello.
Hi, yeah. I just have a question regarding weight loss tea.
Yep.
It contains Chinese mallow and senna, and it's called ballerina tea.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering, I just tried it and I got very ill, and I didn't know what you thought about those two supplements for weight loss.
I heard the senna, but I didn't catch the other one.
It's Chinese mallow.
Oh, yes, Chinese mallow. Okay. Yeah, well, you know something, a lot of folks have sensitivities to herbs in general. You know, herbs are amazing because they're either your best friend in the world or your worst enemy, and there's it's kind of you're rolling the dice with herbs. Mm-hmm. And you could find that one person does so exceptionally well with something like Chinese mallow or senna, but senna, for example, can really loosen the bowels, make the stomach really sick. Chinese mallow can cause bloating. So, you know, it really sort of depends. You're really kind of playing a little bit of roulette there. So, okay. Herbs are not always a slam dunk. When you get the right herb recommended by the right professional for the right occasion, it is superb. When it's not always a safe issue. So, got to be careful with herbs.
Okay, thank you.
Pleasure. Thanks for calling. All right, let's get to Paul from North Andover. Welcome to 96.9 Boston Talk. You're in the Natural Health Show. Hello, Paul.
Oh, hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing all right. I just had a quick question about creatine. I'm 18 years old. I'm an athlete. I just started taking creatine 5 grams a day every day.
Yep.
Should I do any sort of creatine loading?
You know, I'm not a big fan of loading. In fact, creatine's fine as a supplement for your purposes. I know you're trying to bodybuild and trying to increase your muscle mass, and that's fine. But I would also tell you that the recent rash of studies that indicate that loading is not necessary, and furthermore may be problematic for the kidneys. The kidneys are involved in a process of filtration called nitrogen deamination. So there's an awful lot of filtering that the kidneys do with these heavy, concentrated bodybuilding supplements. And sometimes there is a caution that should be issued suggesting that not only is it not necessary to creatine load, but it's probably not a safe idea for everybody out there, according to a lot of the new studies. So I'd say don't bother loading. Just use what you're doing right now is fine.
Okay, thanks. What about also just cycling it, like taking a month or two off from the creatine completely before going back on? I've heard a little bit about that.
Yeah, that's a superb idea. That's a great idea, actually. And any time, it's almost like, nature is pretty interesting. It's kind of like, when you're talking about being in the gym and you're training with somebody who knows what they're doing, and you're doing the same kind of sit-ups all the time. So you can't do those same sit-ups all the time because your body will get bored and it'll tune it out, and you won't get any results doing the same crunches. You got to change it up. Same thing with chemistry. You got to change it up or the body gets bored with it. So, I tell people the same thing that an exercise physiologist would tell you when it comes to nutrition. Change it up, diversify it, rotate it.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Pleasure. Thanks for calling. All right, I think it's about that time. We're going to take a little breather here, but let me give you the numbers again. In Boston and New England, 617-822-1969. Verizon Wireless uses free call pound 969. My name is Mark Mincola. You are listening to the Natural Health Show, the one and only Natural Health Show. And we're here to take your calls regarding nutrition, etc. So stay right where you are, and we'll take your calls in just a minute.
So, what's new for insiders?
Win a family 4-pack of tickets to Myopia Polo in South Hamilton. It's not just another day at the beach.
Plug in, boot up, log on, online, on demand. 969bostontalks.com.
Hi, this is Laura from Good Health. We're New England's largest retailer of specialty foods, and we're always bringing in new gluten-free grocery items. This week, try our Mountain Bread, a unique flatbread originally made in the mountains of Lebanon. It's so simple: flour, water, and salt, with rice, oat, rye, and organic whole wheat varieties. For health-conscious families, it's the coolest paper-thin, with no artificial ingredients, zero cholesterol. And the best part? You can freeze it for up to 12 months. We've made crepes, vegetarian meals, pizzas, and dessert crepes. It's the best way to eat well at the beach or just when it's too hot to crank up the oven. Visit Good Health in Quincy and Hanover. Come by our demo table any weekend. To learn more about all our wholesome products, log on to goodhealthnaturalfood.com. Enjoy your summertime. Keep it easy and healthy. Don't miss out on our everyday low prices, our free samples, and the very best of everything 100% organic and truly all natural. See you soon, and thanks for listening.
When most people hear the word allergies, they think only of hay fever-like symptoms associated with airborne pollen, dust, and mold. But did you know that many experts estimate that between 60 and 80 million of us suffer from immune-related food allergies without even knowing it? Furthermore, food allergies often contribute to serious health problems such as autism, irritable bowel syndrome, ADD, headaches, and chronic ear infections. Now, there's an effective way to identify and eliminate both your food allergies and the troubling symptoms that they aggravate. Allotest Medical Labs at foodallergy.com offers a full complement of clinical, environmental, and food allergy testing to help you get to the root of your allergy problems. Allotest also provides you with a comprehensive rotation diet, lifestyle booklet, and a wallet card to help you live food allergy-free and stress-free. Do you wonder if you or your loved ones are among the 60 to 80 million food allergy sufferers in America? If so, log on to Allotest Medical Labs, foodallergy.com. Talk to your doctor about ordering a food allergy test from Allotest Medical Labs today. Foodallergy.com. Make sure the food you're eating isn't what's depleting you.
The brain requires nutrition just like the rest of the body. Although many of us depend upon caffeine for focus and concentration, caffeine is not actually a nutrient. Real nutrition is needed to enhance brain metabolism and provide antioxidant protection. This is where Jarrow Formula's Neuro-Optimizer comes to the rescue. Neuro-Optimizer is a concentrated source of the nutrients needed for memory and mood, for concentration and focus, all without being a stimulant. Neuro-Optimizer supplies the building blocks for neurotransmitters, the chemicals that allow cells in the brain to communicate and to file away memories. Acetyl L-carnitine and alpha-lipoic acid support brain energy production. Phosphatidylserine, L-glutamine, and taurine enhance brain stability and detoxification in the face of stress. Neuro-Optimizer is the nutritional answer to the brain's needs. Ask for Neuro-Optimizer at your local health food store, or for more information, go to Jarrow.com. That's Jarrow for the best in brain health formulas.
Now, back to the Natural Health Show, sponsored by Good Health Natural Foods in Quincy and Hanover.
In Boston and New England, 617-822-1969. Verizon Wireless users free call pound 969. There's a very patient gentleman by the name of Paul. It's on the line from North Andover. Welcome to 969 Boston Talks. You are on the Natural Health Show.
Welcome, and thank you very much for taking my call.
Pleasure.
My question is, my PSA is up and down.
Yep.
3.0 to 4.0, back and forth, 3.1, 3.8, 3.6 over the years.
Mm-hmm.
is there any way or anything that I can possibly take to try to control that? Also, what would be the proper prostate health to make sure I don't have a problem? You know, right now I don't have a problem, but I just want to make sure I don't. But my PSA has been bouncing like crazy.
Yeah, well, that's not all that unusual. And you know something, there's an awful lot of research out there that suggests that the PSA is not really a great indicator anyway. There's much debate about that as well. So a couple thoughts here. Number one, you want to avoid fermented foods. I talk about it often, but you know, I've seen over 30 years one of the key real game breakers here for prostate inflammation is too much vinegar, too much wine and beer, too much yeasty, bready kind of doughy stuff. But you got to be careful of fermented foods. That's number one, numero uno. And obviously sugar is part of that whole equation, so be careful of that stuff. Cut way down on it. Number two, I don't know what you're taking right now. There's certainly some things out there that make sense, but a number of years ago there was a great study. I think Bayer Aspirin actually did, the Bayer company spent a lot of money on a product called PC Spez. And PC Spez is now referred to as Quercetin Plus, Quercetin, Quercetin Plus. I would say 2 of those a day will generally keep those PSA numbers pretty low. So I think if you combine a yeast-free, fermentation-free diet with 2 of the Quercetin Plus capsules a day, you should be in pretty darn good shape.
Now, how many milligrams is that Quercetin Plus?
Well, it's not how many milligrams. It's a synergist. In other words, there's about 8 different things in there. Okay. So you can't say how many milligrams without going over each and every separate issue on there, each and every separate substance and nutrient that's in there. So the total recommendation is 1 to 2 a day. And again, if you're really looking to drop the numbers, you follow the diet that I recommend, and in conjunction with 2 of those a day, you should be in pretty good shape.
You know where I get the Quercetin Plus?
The only place you can get Quercetin Plus, unfortunately, to my knowledge, is on the internet right now. I don't think you can get it anywhere else. You might try calling it Good Health Natural Foods, one of our sponsors here, first. And I'll give you the number real quickly. It's 617-773-4925. That's 617-773-4925. And ask Good Health Natural Foods if indeed they may have that. They just may, but if not, you can certainly get it easily on the internet.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your help.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. Let's get to another patient call here. Let's get to Paul on the line from Boston. Welcome to 96.9 Boston Talk Show and the Natural Health Show.
Yeah, hi. How are you?
Terrific. How are you?
Good. My wife is about 43 years old. Mm-hmm. She cleans houses for a living. Mm-hmm. She has allergies, and she gets these brutal headaches, not only when she's having her periods, but throughout, and they're really debilitating, and I was wondering what your thoughts might be.
Well, number one, the way in which you problem solve is really, really an important thing to take a look at here. In other words, if there's a problem like headaches, you could take something to try to make those go away. More often than not, that's what I refer to as layering. Don't take a problem and then layer something over it that could become problem number 2. Because let's face it,
that's what she's doing. She's popping pills.
No good. Can't believe it. No good. And it's so what she's doing is layering her problems with would-be solutions. Forget that. Okay. You got to get to the bottom of the problem and eradicate it. Get rid of the problem. For example, that she's got a history of food allergenesis and probably environmental allergies as well. Get to the bottom. Again, one of our sponsors, again, terrific, because we really have great belief in their work. It's the Alites Medical Labs. Simple to find. You just go to the internet, and it's foodallergy.com. Pretty easy. Foodallergy.com.
Foodallergy.com.
And they run both environmental, they run a whole series of environmental, and they run a whole series of food allergies as well. So check them out. She needs to get tested. You need to eliminate the problems and let her develop her own homeostasis. Remove the layers. Don't add to them.
Awesome. All right, foodallergies.com.
Foodallergy.
Allergy.
Singular. All right, good luck. All right, bye-bye. All right, let's get to, let's see here. Let's get to Josh from Boston as well. You're welcome to 96.9 Boston Talk Show and the Natural Health Show.
Hi, thanks for taking the call.
Pleasure.
My question just has to do with basic nutrition guidelines.
Okay.
Where, I'm in my early 30s now, but the last time that I ever remember really learning about anything was the food pyramid and food group back in first grade. Could you give us all a quick refresher or highlights that we should live our life by day to day?
First of all, Josh, that's a brilliant indictment right there. But you're absolutely right on the money. That's exactly the way it works. But we don't talk enough nutrition talk early enough in our world, unfortunately. And we're starting to have more of it. It's becoming more of an interest, more of an open forum. But you're absolutely right. It's nothing's more important that's more overlooked. Anyway, yeah, I mean, I'll give you a real quick one. I think basically you want to look at three, or actually four, let's call it four major types of foods, or four kind of concepts when it comes to food. Number one, you talk about proteins. Lean protein, stuff that doesn't have a lot of fat. Baked or broiled poultry, fish, chicken, turkey, fish, beans, and to delve into the legumes and more vegetarian type options as an alternative from time to time. Number two, obviously, green vegetables. You can't beat them. To me, they're the superior food, the number one superior food. Number three, you want to basically get some fruits in the diet. Number four, you want to qualify your grains as whole grain products. Now, by the time they've been in a jar, a box, a can, they've already been brutalized. They've been beaten up and left for dead. So, there's just not a lot of nutrients left after human hands get on them. So you want to, brown rice is an example of a good complex carbohydrate that makes sense nutritionally. Oatmeal works, etc. Your breads want to be as unprocessed as possible, regardless of whether they have a farmer with a pitchfork on the front of the cover or not. So, get a real good quality carbohydrate when it comes to whole grain products. Last but not least, rotate these things. We had some food allergy specialists from Allotest Labs on, Michelle and Veronica, a couple weeks ago, and they really brought up the point that rotate those foods. Don't eat the same thing. We tend to get into habits. We're busy. We're overstressed. We just don't want to take too much time. So we eat the same stuff over and over and over. Bad idea. You develop intolerances to those things that you use too frequently. So that's pretty much my overview on good nutrition. That help at all?
Very much. Thanks a lot.
Pleasure. Thank you for calling. All right, once again, our numbers in Boston and New England, 617-822-1969. Verizon Wireless users, free call pound 969. And we are here to talk with you this evening about nutrition. And we've got just a couple more minutes for another series of calls here. Let's get to Bruce from Salem, New Hampshire. Welcome to 96.9 Boston Talk Show, the Natural Health Show.
Hi there. Thanks for taking my call.
Pleasure.
I've had Lyme disease now for 5 years.
Yep.
They figured out it goes back to a tick bite in 2004. It took them 3 years to figure it out and finally diagnosed Lyme. When it was all said and done, I did the typical month of antibiotics. Mm-hmm. Got in the battles between different doctors that did not believe in Lyme disease.
Yeah, well, there are battles going on about it right now. It's a tough situation. It really is.
Exactly. So right now, I felt pretty good for a few years. And in a nutshell, I did a very tough 7-day detox. Mm-hmm. Say in January. And although nutritionally and medically great, within a month something strange happened. I started realizing I had a lot of symptoms going back to when I had the Lyme originally. And then I said, wow, I wonder if it's possible I activated the spirochete, blah, blah, blah. So I decided to go totally homeopathic, and I've done a new program. It's called Cowden. It's a condensed system of Cemento, Berba, Pinella, Parsley. I'm right now starting week 3 of a 6-month program. And my God, I think I'm getting worse before I'm getting better. Online research basically says if it is working and it is killing the bacteria, that when the spirochete bacteria dies, it can release toxins to make you feel worse. I don't know. I was wondering if this all makes sense.
Well, anytime you kill a single cell bacteria, it's going to release toxins. So, I mean, like if you stop using vinegar and fermented foods and a lot of sugar in the diet, you're going to basically have some die-off in most cases as well, because, again, those are foods, and that's a profile that really supports bacteria in the body. And I'm talking about invasive, unfriendly bacteria. So, number one, I tell you, like I just mentioned the gentleman a few calls ago, get off the fermented foods, the vinegars, the yeasted breads, the sugars, and too many of the nuts and all that sort of stuff. Get rid of that stuff. Number two, there's a couple supplements that I think are really consistently useful. There's a TOA-free cat's claw that you probably read about, but I think it's a great supplement. In addition, things like beta-glucan. There's a company called Ecological Formulas that makes a really good Nutricillin product. It's a lactoferrin colostrum product. And they also make a monolaurin, which is a terrific immune enhancer as well. So TOA-free cat's claw, beta-glucan, B-E-T-A, glucan, G-L-U-C-A-N, Nutricillin, like penicillin, but Nutricillin, and monolaurin. I think those are 4 things you could find great success with, but you'll never get any further with those things unless they're supporting or being supported by a diet that is yeast yeast-free, that is vinegar-free, and that is very low in sugar.
Yeast-free?
Absolutely. Yeah, there are breads out there in the health food stores that are yeast-free. You want to get rid of the yeast. Fermented foods, again, vinegar, marinades, that are going to enhance the proliferation of these single-cell bacteria.
Very good. Wow, okay. So, diet on top of my program, and
put them together, yes, indeed.
I believe it's also called Cemento. Is that another name for it?
That's correct, yes, indeed.
Okay. Well, I'll keep hacking at it.
All right, and you know something, you can check out our website. We got all kinds of different information on there, and if it's not enough info for you, you can get to our offices, give a call, leave me some questions. My email address is on there and all that business. So it's www.maxhealing.com. One word, Max Healing, and let me know how you're doing.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Take care of yourself. All right, hey, we got to take a quick little breather. We're running over time here. We got to pay a few light bills, and we'll be right back. Stay right where you are.
Do you take CoQ10 for heart health? Melatonin to help you sleep? African mango extract to lose weight? If you do, you can thank Life Extension. For over 30 years, Life Extension has been making cutting-edge nutritional supplements that can make all the difference in maintaining your health. Life Extension has always been ahead of the curve, so each and every formula is based on successful scientific research and tested for purity, potency, and effectiveness. That's why Life Extension supplements have become the gold standard of the industry. So if you haven't yet discovered Life Extension products, find them at a health food store near you. Visit www.lifeextensionretail.com for locations. Then make Life Extension nutritional supplements a key part of your personal health regimen. Life Extension, for longer life. Now doesn't that say it all?
You know, when most people hear the word allergies, they think only of hay fever-like symptoms associated with airborne pollen, dust, and mold. But did you know that many experts estimate that between 60 and 80 million of us suffer from immune-related food allergies without even knowing it? Furthermore, food allergies often contribute to serious health problems such as autism, irritable bowel syndrome, ADD, headaches, and chronic ear infections. Now, there's an effective way to identify and eliminate both your food allergies and the troubling symptoms that they aggravate. Alitas Medical Labs at foodallergy.com offers a full complement of clinical, environmental, and food allergy testing to help you get to the root of your allergy problems. Alitas also provides you with a comprehensive rotation diet, lifestyle booklet, and a wallet card to help you live food allergy-free and stress-free. Do you wonder if you or your loved ones are among the 60 to 80 million food allergy sufferers in America? If so, log on to Alitas Medical Labs, foodallergy.com. Talk to your doctor about ordering a food allergy test from Alitas Medical Labs today. Foodallergy.com. Make sure the food you're eating isn't what's depleting you.
Now, back to the Natural Health Show, sponsored by Good Health Natural Foods in Quincy and Hanover.
In Boston and New England, 617-822-1969. Verizon Wireless uses free call pound 96.9. Let's get to Holly from Boston on the line, and welcome to 96.9 Boston Talk. You're on the Natural Health Show.
I didn't hear who that was.
That would be Holly. Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. I had a question about migraines.
Sure, go ahead.
I have had migraines since I was 6 years old, and I'm 27 now.
Oh, boy.
And a few years ago, I was put on Imitrex to treat them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering about, because I have been on it for a few years, and now I was in the hospital recently because my hands and my feet have numbness, and they think that it might be related to the Imitrex.
Yes.
And also my feet, if I am sitting down, the toes immediately will start to change color as if the circulation is not right.
Well, migraines are triggered by they're triggered by icosanoid hormones called leukotriene B4 hormones. Those are inflammatory hormones, and there's an assembly line of chemistry in the human body. Those hormones, those inflammatory leukotriene hormones that cause migraines, are really produced by a fatty acid called arachidonic acid. Now, that particular fatty acid that builds this assembly line structure of inflammation are from egg yolks, red meats, dairy products, most nuts, especially peanuts. So if you're eating any of those things, you might want to try getting off of those things for about 2-3 weeks completely and see how you feel. There's also a terrific over-the-counter product made by New Chapter called Zyflamend. And Zyflamend is a really good natural plant-based anti-inflammatory, food-grade anti-inflammatory. And I'd recommend 4 of those a day. So I'd say for 3 weeks, stay away from yolks, red meats, dairy, and nuts, and try 4 Zyflamend tablets a day.
4 Zyflamend, and I know I have heard of vitamin D sometimes.
That's correct, yep.
That can help as well?
Sure, but I think I'd get right to the source, though. Like I said a minute ago, if you're not producing these high concentrations of these eicosanoid hormones, you're just not going to have the migraines. So there are many peripheral things. Vitamin D is certainly one of those things that can be really helpful. White willow bark. There's a lot of different things that can be helpful, but I think to get right to the source of this eicosanoid hormone production buildup in your system, you really want to kind of choke off that supply of hormone, or at least balance it out. And I think the best way to do that is to avoid those foods that really deliver the fatty acid that really sets up the production lines. So egg yolk should be avoided, red meat, dairy, nuts, and take 4 Zyflamend a day and see how you do.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, good luck. Take care. All right, let's see here. Let's get to Peggy from Westford. Peggy from Westford. You're on 96.9 Boston Talks. You're on the Natural Health Show.
Hi, thank you for taking my call.
Pleasure. Thank you for your patience.
I had an accident, fell, broke my glass table, cut my finger, went to the emergency, got stitches, and it's the middle finger, and it's been 3 months, and it feels like it doesn't belong to my finger, that accident.
Yeah, and I'm assuming that you've gone back to your physician and pointed this out, yes?
Well, I went to no, it was the emergency room, and I had to go to my orthopedic within my insurance plan.
Right.
And he said there were too many stitches, but there's nothing they can do to change that.
So the specialist that you saw said to you that the reason for this discomfort that you're feeling was because there were too many stitches?
That's what he thinks, and so he...
you may consider a second opinion as well.
Okay. It may take a long time for me to feel this back together again.
Right.
But it's also, I have arthritis, and it seems to be making that even worse because I'm not... I guess I'm babying the finger. I don't know.
Yep. Well, again, a second opinion is my first advice. And the second option would be, when you go to the natural health food stores, they have high concentrated vitamin E's in topical forms. Now, when you take vitamin E internally, you're not looking at the same high potencies. Typically you're looking at 1,200, 400, 800 units. But when we're talking about topical vitamin E, you're talking about 40, 50,000, 100,000 units of topical application. Now, vitamin E is a remarkable antioxidant that can really help and expedite in the healing process, any kind of scar tissue problems, etc. So if there's too many stitches, if he was correct about that, and there's scar tissue that's interfering with any of your functioning, then you may want to consider softening up some of that scar tissue with high concentrations of vitamin E. So I'd get a topical vitamin E oil, like maybe 50,000 units or something like that.
Vitamin E, okay.
Vitamin E, and apply that topically 2 or 3 times a day. Really rub it in, massage it in that in the wounded area.
Okay.
And give that a try. But I'd give it a good month before you really evaluated whether it's thumbs up or thumbs down. But get a second opinion while you're at it.
Will do. Thank you for your help.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye. All right, we got time for another caller or two here, so let's go to Anna from Westboro. Welcome to 96.9 Boston Talk Show, the Natural Health Show.
Hi, thank you for taking my call.
Pleasure.
I'm actually calling regarding my husband. He's 45, and he had his cholesterol checked in May. At that point, he was taking 1 fish oil pill a day, which is 1,000 milligrams. His cholesterol was a total of 245. His tris were 133.
Yep.
HDL 52 and LDL 166.
Yep.
So he increased his fish pills to 3 a day and started taking niacin, one a day, 300 milligrams. Now he just got tested just now last week, and it's 279 his cholesterol, triglycerides are 129, HDL 60, and LDL 193. And the doctor's recommending Lipitor, but he doesn't want to do that because that's just dangerous.
Well, yeah, so, no, we didn't mention anything about food here. So, in other words, I think the message that I want to get out there is in all these cases is to make sure that nutrition is the mainstay, right, and that supplements are just what they're said to be. They are to supplement your nutrition, because there was Dr. Michael Brown back in 1984 from MIT who won 2 Nobel Prizes in medicine, and for HMG coenzyme A reductase research, and his work pointed out that 80% of the cholesterol in the human body comes from the liver. So your liver produces 80% of your own, manufactures 80% of your body's cholesterol, triggered by insulin. So the more starch, sugar, doughy, bready, rice, cereal, sugary stuff you eat, the more your liver is being told by your style of eating to increase the manufacturing of cholesterol. So, if your husband's diet is starchy, if there's a lot of bread, if he's eating starch 2, 3, 4 times, 5 times a day, then he is not going to reverse any of this with any pills. He's got to basically start increasing the amount of lean protein, chicken, turkey, fish, a lot of greens, a little bit of fruit, and keep those starches down to 1 serving per day, a cup of brown rice, a cup of oatmeal, or rather 2 slices of good high-fiber whole grain bread, but that's about it. The idea of having a bagel at breakfast or cereal at breakfast, and then having a cereal bar at mid-morning, and then having a sandwich at lunch and a baked potato at night is not going to get it done for him. His body is not breaking this stuff down. So, number one, get rid of all that starch. Give it a good 2 months or so when you're really cutting your starches down to 1 serving a day of high-fiber starch, and then retest them. All right.
Okay.
All right.
All right, great.
Take care.
All right, thank you very much.
Thanks for calling. Bye-bye. The other thing that I might suggest to you as well, you could actually use something called Policosanol, Policosanol, Policosanol. Policosanol is a supplement that actually comes from sugar cane. But it's the outer part of the sugar cane that gets thrown away. It's the fibrous part of the sugar cane that gets thrown away in the sugar processing. It's the part that has value. Of course, we throw away the part that has value so that we can eat the stuff that kills people. So the objective here is to increase the protein in the diet, the vegetables in the diet, the fruits in the diet, the whole foods in the diet, keep those starches to a dull roar and qualify them as high-fiber starch. And a little bit of Policosanol won't hurt. Those are generally 100 milligrams. I take a couple a day. And, I think other than that, a little exercise wouldn't hurt. And I think, is it time for us to take a little breather here? Is that what it is? No, we can take a call. Okay, let's go to Steve in Cambridge. Welcome to 96.9 Boston Talk. You're in the Natural Health Show.
Hello.
Hello.
I read recently in a Wired magazine that relative to Alzheimer's, there is research being done on nicotine for cognitive deficits in both Alzheimer's and even schizophrenia. Now, they're not talking about smoking, but new drugs and things that are working with nicotinic receptors. Do you know anything about this?
I know a lot about that. Dr. Carl Pfeiffer initiated it back in the 60s down at the Princeton Bio Brain Center in Princeton, New Jersey. And he looked at nicotinic acid in the form of vitamin B3, which is niacin or niacinamide. Now, for those folks who get the red flushy reaction to niacin, they can use the niacinamide. The niacinamide isn't quite as effective, so the objective to understanding why people get this disturbing flush is that it opens up the lumen capillary. It's actually increasing circulation in the capillary system, which is why the brain gets a higher delivery. So that's exactly what it's all about. It's about nicotinic acid or niacinamide or niacin. You could use 1,000 milligrams of niacin, or you could use 1,000 milligrams of niacinamide, but I would say the niacin in a sustained release. Obviously they time release these things so they don't give you the flush. So that's really what it's all about, and there's some really terrific research behind that. But Carl Pfeiffer, Dr. Carl Pfeiffer, both PhD and MD from Princeton, who's no longer with us, did all this great groundbreaking research back in the early 60s.
What is the difference between nicotinic acid and nicotine?
Well, it's a question of it's a question of sourcing more than anything. When you follow these chemical chains down, you have root sources to these chains, these biochemical chains in the body. So does nicotine amount to the same thing as nicotinic acid? No, they're part of a very lengthy chain that they create similar properties, or similar effects, I should say, in the body. They have similar properties that create similar effects in the body. So what they do is they increase circulation.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for calling. All right, let's get to Kevin in Taunton. Welcome to 96.9 Boston Talk Show and the Natural Health Show.
Hey, Mark. How are you doing today?
Terrific. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Listen, I got a two-part question for you. Eczema. What is the most common cause? Would it be outdoor allergies or indoor food allergies? And also winter itch. In the winter, when winter gets here, if you ever had your foot fall asleep or your hand fall asleep, when my body gets hot, I feel that same type of symptom, but only it's an itch.
Yeah, I think you're looking at both here. I think your winter itch is more exogenic. It's probably environmental. It's probably indoor environmental when you're spending more time indoors with windows and doors closed, less ventilation. 1 minute. I think your first question about eczema is 100%. My answer is that it's largely food-related. In either case, again, I think you need to get the IgG testing that we've talked about, and get to that website of our wonderful sponsor and friend, Alletest Medical Labs, foodallergy.com. They've got a lot of great information there. Hey, I hate to part with you right now, but we're up against the clock, and thank you so much for calling, and thank all of you for calling. Hey, as well, we want to thank our great producer, Mike Roberts, and our intern extraordinary, Alex Todorovic, for always being on board here, and our podcast website, Meister Adam Ing, of course, who makes all these shows available. So if you want to check out these shows and catch any of the information, either through the audio or the visual, you're welcome to do that at www.maxhealing.com. And we're going to be on Fox 25 again this Thursday at 8:50. We have an interesting topic, so make sure you tune in 8:50 on Thursday morning on that. And again, check out my tweeting, folks, because you can check out Mark Mincola on Twitter. And I've always got plenty to say there, of course. But we want to make sure you stay tuned as well here, because Woody and Abby are going to be on shortly, and we got they got a superb program each and every week, and Right Turn Radio is well worth listening to. So again, until next Sunday, this is Mark Mincola reminding you all, please be wise, be aware, be well. Make it a healthy week. Good night.